Hello, my name is Tiana, and I'm doing a 12-part series for new home buyers to understand the home buying process. So, this first recording that I have is just explaining why some people are not happy with their home purchase after they bought it and how we can look into why that's happening so you can avoid that, right? So, why some people regret buying their homes or struggle to afford them, and is brought to you by myself, Tianna Thompson. I am a realtor licensed in the state of Florida under the brokerage firm Real Broker LLC. All right. All right. So, you can send me an email at hospfl@gmail.com or visit my website at soldbysunshine.com. Right. So let's just jump right into it. So, why are so many people on social media sharing their experience of buyer's remorse after buying their home, right? Let's start with why people buy homes in the first place. You are building wealth, right? There are advantages with tax advantages in some instances. There's the stability of, in most cases, for housing costs and having a permanent residence for your family. There's a personal freedom of customizing your home in certain instances, however you want, without the restriction of a landlord, right? You have the pride of home ownership, long-term security, where you have that as a financial asset for your retirement, right? And then we have the potential, if you decide you want to go into renting, of potential rental income. And then there is the, I'd say, somewhat of an understanding, or somewhat of I'd say I'd make a bold assumption of having privacy, because then you don't have a landlord saying, okay, we're going to come inspect the property in the next 24 hours. No one's coming to say that. It's your property, right? Now let's look into why some people struggle. Really, it's insufficient budgeting, and I'll be going over like what the mortgage payments consist of in another video, but just understanding the cost of owning a home. There's a part of the mortgage payment, there's property taxes, homeowners insurance. In some cases, if you're in a community that has HOA, there are HOA fees, utility bills, maintenance, and then of course you have your principal and your interest payments that are part of your mortgage. So these are things that you want to sit down with your lender about. These are things you want to sit down with me, your realtor, about, so we can have that conversation about affordability, what you can actually afford, and not just what you qualify for, right? Another thing to consider is your debt. It's very important to have a budget to take stock of where you're at financially, how much money you're making each month. That's a good thing to look at, your gross income, and look at your monthly debt payments, your credit card debts, if those apply, any loans you may have, your car notes. Those are important things to take stock of, um, to determine what your debt income ratio is, because lenders do look at that as well, right? So you want to keep it under a certain amount, and then you can speak with your lender about what that amount looks like. And then oftentimes people don't take into consideration reduced income, right? This can be for a number of reasons, economic downturns, personal circumstances. So you want to be prepared when you're buying a home. Right? An asset does require maintenance. That no, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have an asset, you have to monitor it. Like if you have like a a stock portfolio, it's managed by a company. You have to pay the company in some instances a fee to maintain it. So it's the same thing with your home. Just like with if you don't have a home, you have a landlord, the landlord has to maintain their asset. So you have to make sure you take stock of these things and have a budget, put some money aside and save and prepare for the unexpected as best as you can, right? And then there are rising interest rates. You want to make sure you have a mortgage that works best for you. There's the adjustable rate mortgage that sometimes will increase your mortgage payments. So you want to be prepared for that. If that's the type of mortgage you have, speak with your lender, try to figure out when the rate's going to increase so you can prepare yourself for that and the increased payments. right? And then unexpected life changes like health issues, divorce, family expansion. You all, and I would say the budget is the most important thing because when you have a budget, that budget helps you to stay on track. So when you're making decisions, you can make more informed decisions. So when things happen that are outside of your control, you have some semblance of control of the understanding of where you're at financially. So you can prepare yourself as best as you can for it, right? And then we know you go maybe rush into buying a home and you don't have a dedicated realtor that you're working with, you experience these things because you have buyer's remorse because you didn't, there's no real communication. That relationship was not built where your realtor can help you to understand the process, connect you with the right people, make sure that you get the best option, right? Like you know, insurance can be one of them, like property insurance, making sure you get the best property insurance. So, the emotional, psychological impact of the buyer's remorse of feeling trapped and financial strain and lack of fulfillment, these things happen. So how do we avoid this? You work with a solid realtor who can look at market trends, look at neighborhood details, compare homes and prices to ensure that the property that you're getting is at a fair value. And then setting a realistic budget. You want to factor all the cost of purchasing and maintaining your home and knowing all the moving parts that go into it because you're going to have unexpected things, but if you have the things that are expected organized and you're prepared for it, when the unexpected comes, it doesn't hit you as hard as when you're not prepared at all, right? So how do you avoid the regret? You get a professional inspection. This is something I highly recommend. You don't want to not get an inspection for your property. You always want to get an inspection for your property, right? Do not skip over that. When you make an offer and the seller agrees to the offer, you get a period in which you can decide if you want to work with that home or not. And in that time frame, you're going to be working with, a property inspector is going to go in and look at the property. So look at that report carefully to see the items that need to be repaired, right? And then we can work together to negotiate the best deal for you with the buyer after the inspection. And then you want to plan for the long run, right? Prepare yourself. If you have any future plans, you're gonna, your family size, you want to make sure you take a stock of that when you're purchasing a home, and then making sure that the financing is affordable. Don't be scared to shop around and ask questions when it comes to finding the best rates for mortgages. Your credit doesn't have to be run just to get information, right? And then there are a lot of resources for home buyers. There's financial counseling with mortgage advisors that you can speak with. There's home buyer educations, um, you know, options that you can enroll in. Sometimes there are community assistance programs that are local and available in the state that you can take a look at. And then in some cases, there may be mortgage relief. So you want to look at that. And then, of course, you always want to keep a budget. Know where you're at financially, even if you think you know, when you put it on paper, you start seeing, areas where you can make changes. All right. So the conclusion of this is home ownership is a big deal, right? It's very important. So when you're going into it, you don't want to go into it without having a clear head and without having someone by your side who can advocate for you and make sure you're getting the best deal. Because once everybody's gone, you are the one that's responsible for making those mortgage payments. And I see this happen all the time. And I'll do another video why it's important to have a dedicated realtor. Um, all the time that it happens when it doesn't always happen because of that, but it happens primarily when um, there isn't a dedicated realtor. When you're talking to multiple realtors and you don't have a person that's really for you that can say, okay, maybe this is the best option, or maybe that's not the best option, right? So let's get connected. These are my contact information here. My email address is sunshine, at fl@gmail.com. You can visit my website, Sold by Sunshine, or visit my Calendly and block a time so we can see what your needs are. We could just start with you looking at properties. I send you weekly listings, send you monthly educational videos and emails so that when you buy your home, you're happy with your purchase. All right. Thank you for your time with this recording, and I'll see you in another video.